Welcome to another GC Series Safety Controller Setup video from KEYENCE. We'll be discussing 5 tips and tricks you can use to make programming the GC easier, faster, and more organized. Let's get into it. Whenever you're creating a new program, we recommend naming each of your input or output devices you add to that program. Especially as the devices add up, it can be confusing. For example, which curtain in your program corresponds to which curtain on your machine. Giving them a clear name when you add them will save you trouble later on. If you're creating the GC's program ahead of the physical installation, you can save yourself a good amount of time, especially if you have a large amount of devices in the program, by using the terminal assignment button. Normally, you need to go device by device and assign the terminal, but instead you can simply click on the terminal assignment button and then select auto assign. All of the devices selected on the left will automatically be assigned appropriate terminals on the GC. When you're at the step of building out your program after you've added your input and output devices, you probably won't be familiar immediately with all of the tools at your disposal. To quickly learn about a function block that sounds like it might be useful, drag it into your program and right-click on the function block to enter the detailed settings. There are 2 things you can do in order to quickly learn about the function block. You can click on the Help button, which will pull up the relevant part of the function block user's manual, or you can click on the Simulate button. This allows you to toy around with the function block's inputs and outputs to learn via experience how it will behave in the program. When you're underway making your program, you might want to be able to reference the status of an output the GC is sending on a different page of the program. However, you'll see that you cannot use a safety output twice. To work around this, you can use the block information function block. In this example, I want to turn an aux output on whenever the GC turns its safety output on. What I'll do to accomplish this is navigate to another page and drag out the block information function block. When I double-click to enter the detailed settings of that function block, I can select a device to have the function block reference. I'll scroll through my devices and select the safety output I'm using. Once I select it, this function block will mirror the status of that safety output. In fact, you can do this with any input or any output device you're using. Once you've finished making your program and you're satisfied with it, you can actually save the programming logic for use later. Of course, you can always save the program itself, which will work well if you're using identical setups in the future. But if you just want to remember how you made the programming logic, you can save it as a recipe. Click on the File button, and then click on Recipe, then Registration Management. Now you can select Register and save the programming logic you've created for use later, without having to use the exact same file. To access any recipes saved in your software, click File, Recipe, and then Open. Here you can view the preset KEYENCE made recipes or your registered recipes you've made. Once you open one of these recipes, you just need to fill in the dummy inputs and outputs with your own inputs and outputs you've added to that program.